What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I have the key to this Lamborghini Huracan. Huge shout out and thank you to Foreign Cars Charlotte for providing this Huracan for today's video. Definitely check out the link to their website. They have a huge selection of other pre-owned supercars and exotics, and they also have a great selection of brand new Aston Martins, Bentleys, Alfa Romeos, and Maseratis, so check them out. So in today's video we're going to be talking about a used Huracan, because in my opinion I think buying a used Huracan is one of the best financial supercars you could buy, because they're not really losing any value. In fact, I think in the last year they've been gaining some value. So that is pretty crazy to buy an amazing Lamborghini supercar and yet not lose any money owning the car. I've seen so many videos of the Huracans out on YouTube. These things are bulletproof, reliable, so much fun, and yet you can daily drive it. So we're going to take a quick look at this Huracan, see what it's like, and then drive it and talk about why these are such a good bargain. It's finished off in a beautiful white color. We got black accents, and this one is the LP610. So this is the all-wheel drive model. We have the carbon ceramic disc brakes, really nice looking black wheels, very cool looking. We got LP610-4. We got the transparent engine cover, really good looking rear end car. Definitely a big fan of the way Lamborghinis look. And then if I hit unlock on the key fob, the door handles actually pop open, so we can easily grab this and get a look at this interior. We have black leather and white stitching. I really love the way the Huracan is all laid out. You can see a lot of the hexagon designs all throughout it, beautiful looking. We even have some Alcantara accents to it. And then as we make our way inside, we have some of the climate controls in the center with all the radio, and then the engine start stop. And then beautiful looking steering wheel with leather. We also have big paddle shifters on the steering column. But yeah, that is a nice look at the interior of the Huracan. Let's hop in it and go for a spin. All right guys, so we are now in the Lamborghini Huracan. Fires right up. I love the fighter jet type engine start stop button. That is pretty sweet. So I haven't actually driven a normal Huracan in about 2 years. I drove one actually at Foreign Cars Charlotte 2 years ago, and recently this year I've driven a few of the Huracan EVOs. And as we talk about pricing, there's a big discrepancy from a Huracan to the Huracan EVO. It's about a $100,000 difference. The normal Huracan started around 190 grand when it came out. The all-wheel drive one was closer to like 220, 230. But if you look on the used market, these have been holding value really well because the EVOs are now like $300,000 cars. So it really makes it to where the normal Huracan is a car you can buy and not really lose any money on it. So we're gonna drive around, kind of feel it out a little bit, putting it into gear. We're in automatic drive, parking brake is off, and we will get going now. Got the heated seat on and some heat on because it is about 35 degrees out. My face is still really stiff. But oh man, already I love the view out. It is such a low hunker down supercar. The windshield is so low compared to a normal car. I will do the front end lift just to make sure we don't scrape up the front end, leaving this little parking lot now. Alright, so we are starting all off in Strada automatic mode. The front end lift will automatically go off as well once we get up to like 20 or 30 miles an hour. But I can go ahead and just tap that and it'll start to lower. The turn signal is on the steering wheel, which for me I'm really used to with my motorcycle. It's very similar. But as we get going, it's actually a car that's really comfortable and kind of normal to drive. In the normal mode right now, the seat is so comfortable. It's very rigid. You can tell it's not exactly a squishy, soft, luxurious seat. But the way it's framed, you're completely comfortable. I have no issues at all. And it's actually way more comfortable than I remember. And then even the armrest, it can actually be a car you can kind of sit back in and just kind of enjoy and relax. And then the view out, like we said, the windshield is really low, but it is really large to where I can see out really well. And all this glass right here makes it to where you really have a good view all in the front and the sides. That window you can see over your left shoulder. Your right shoulder is the only compromising angle. There is a lot going on back there. Of course, we have a big old V10 sitting behind me, so it is a little compromised. But realistically, when you use the mirrors, which are actually pretty big, it seems to do a really good job seeing out and everything like that. And then the steering, really lightweight right now. Suspension is pretty good. Wow, that is so responsive, and we're not even doing anything yet. So as far as driving modes, we have a sport mode and then a Corsa mode as well. We'll keep it in Strada as we let the car warm up a little bit. But we'll just get up to some speed in automatic like this. So it shifts around 3,500 RPM in automatic like this, so it still is a little aggressive, which is kind of nice. And then if I put it into manual mode, it is now going to let me do all of the shifting. We can go into the sport mode. It's a little bit louder for the exhaust. Still pretty quiet overall, nothing too crazy yet. And then Corsa mode, that is the big boy mode for the car. That's when everything just tightens up, everything gets crazy in the car. Those shifts are much more aggressive. Wow. Wow. And then real quick, we'll talk back about the pricing, and then we'll talk more about how fun the car is. But if you look at the pricing of this car, this is around like $170,000 to $190,000 for a used Huracan. And I've been watching the values of the Gallardo and the Huracan quite a lot in the last few years. And the Huracans, I think last year, the cheapest ones I could find on the used market were around 150 grand. This year, the cheapest ones I'm finding are around $160,000. So you can buy a used Huracan. This one has about 11,000 miles on it. And I guarantee next year, this is going to be still worth that same price. And when you look at the EVOs, the ones that I've driven that are brand new have all been around $320,000. So the fact that you can buy a used supercar, a Lamborghini, I mean an insane Lamborghini, and yet in a year from now, 2 years from now, it's still going to be worth the same, even with more mileage on it. And the thing I know about Lamborghinis, they are bulletproof. There are so many YouTubers with Huracans who beat these cars up, and they are just running perfect bulletproof cars. So it's just awesome how you can buy a car like this and not lose any money. And then even normal driving with this car, I had the front end lift up, getting out of this little area, and it still is usable for a daily. We're still normal automatic, everything. So it's nice how, even though it is a crazy, Lamborghini and everything, I like how you can drive it in normal circumstances. And if we look up front in the trunk, I have my whole camera bag, my lunchbox, my winter coat, and my gloves. And it fits really nicely. It fits to the brim. I mean, I can't fit anything else in there. But it is actually usable enough for what kind of car this is. So I love the blend of everything you get in a car like this. And the fact that it is usable and drivable around town. We're back into automatic, just in a little neighborhood road. The 7-speed dual clutch is so smooth. It feels just like an automatic transmission. It shifts exactly the way you'd think. I don't feel it shifting or doing anything like that. What a good sound. When you are in Corsa mode, it actually kicks you in the back a little bit. There's like a delay in shifting just to really add to the drama in the car. I love how Lamborghinis do that. They always have drama to them. There's fun factor. They make you smile. That is awesome sounding. And visibility, to check over my left shoulder, very good visibility. Wow. I love how you can feel that kick. Going into sport mode. Wow. So when you're in sport mode, it doesn't do that at all. Sport mode, I would say, is just precision and things like that. But when you're in the Corsa mode, it just adds a little bit more of the drama to it, which is really cool. And then as far as using all the interior controls and everything, I like how the climate control is pretty simple. It's right here, heated seat buttons. You can tap this top one right here, and on this little LCD screen, it comes up with the different zones and everything. So I do like how how simple everything is. It's all the stuff right from Audi. So if you are familiar with the Audi, you will understand how that all works. It's very easy. And I love Corsa mode. It just has that. I'm sure you can see my body shaking just a little bit in Corsa mode. I love that. But anyway, yeah, back to interior. So climate control is super simple to use. You have other buttons on the side, and then the fan speed right there. All the toggles here. You have your windows, switches, hazard, ESC, front end lift. And then on top of that, right here is all the infotainment for the screen that's in the center right here. You just tap one of these buttons, and it comes up right in the center screen. It kind of pushes your tack over a little bit. But when we are on the highway, it's a little noisy. We're going 62 miles an hour right now. It's not the quietest thing out there. I think the Huracan EVO is much quieter, but that car again is so much more expensive. You're not really cross-shopping the Huracan and the Huracan EVO, mainly because there's such a big price difference. They're kind of not even the same car anymore. It's really just such a new version of this car that it's in a different price category. Alright, one last acceleration we'll do as we wrap up the Huracan. Man, I love the feedback you get with the car. But I think that kind of wraps up the video driving in the Lamborghini Huracan and talking about is now the best time to buy one of these. The fact that the values have maintained the same level over the last few years, especially with the Huracan EVO being a much more expensive car, I think it just makes it to where it's a car you can't lose. You can buy it, you can drive it, rack it up in the mileage, and it is still going to be worth what you paid. And you're going to have a lot of fun with it. Maintenance is pretty easy, reliability, like I said. Really, I don't think there's any downfalls with this car. It's just a good blend of everything. It's probably one of the best bang for the buck supercars out there. I'm a big fan of it. I would love to add one of these to the garage in a few more years. Got a little bit of time before I can make that happen. But I think it's definitely a sweet car. So I think that's about it for the Huracan. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you'd like to stay tuned for plenty more content to come. And I'll see you all next video.